the lights as well. And the Badgers, 3 straight wins since falling at USC, scoring up more than 17 points per game. Defense has been incredible in that stretch. They've allowed a total of 16 points in the wins over Purdue, Rutgers, and Northwestern. It is fair to point out those 3 programs have combined for 2 Big Ten wins, or 1 fewer than this week's opponent, Penn State. You saw Wisconsin against Northwestern on Saturday on the lakefront here, not far from here up in Evanston. What would it take for the Badgers to take that performance, bring it up to Madison, and turn it into a win over Penn State?
Well, can we pull that graphic back up? Because
I'm not in control of that, but I think it can be done.
Maybe, can you wave your wand? Can we get that graphic back up? Because there
it is. Look at that.
Look at that bottom row right there. That's the key.
Right.
Rush yards per game.
Right.
Nearly plus 100 in this last run. And that is the key, because you think about the transition from to bring in Luke Fickell and Phil Longo. It's the air raid system. So we're expecting to see them, and they've been trying to throw the ball and find their identity in that game. And it's come all the way back around now to their identity is running the football. They got 2 tackles that are 6'7", 6'8", 300-plus pounds. The guards and center are nasty on the interior. Ches Malusi steps away from the team to take care of his health, and all of a sudden Tawi Walker is getting the lion's share of those carries. They have been dominant up front with their gap schemes and pulling guys around. Their offense is like a Jenga tower, okay? I like what Braden Locke's doing. He gets comfortable in the RPO games and then the play action. Now he's been taking shots to Vinny Anthony downfield, and they've been hitting there. But the foundation that makes all of this work, his confidence grows when they're able to run the football. That's the matchup here for Penn State. The secondary is really the weak point, but you have to run the ball first to get into the RPO and play action for this to all work for Braden Locke, Wisconsin, and Tawi Walker.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I mean, I think it's a similar story to what we were talking about with Michigan State, where it feels like the offensive line has just gained confidence here. I know the running backs get a lot of the credit, and as you said, Walker's been really good, but you pointed out offensive line, those tackles. I mean, this just looks the part.
Yes.
And don't forget the tight ends.
Can't forget the tight ends.
Can't forget the tight ends.
They're blocking their butts off, too.
Absolutely. This looks the part of a vintage Wisconsin offensive line. They've kind of, again, as you say, they're trying to do different things philosophically in the pass game in particular, but they're still kind of looking at that bread and butter as being the run game. I'm interested in whether the defense is really this good.
Yeah.
And it will get tested against Andy Kotelnicki and Penn State. And we've seen what they've done, the creativity, the use of Tyler Warren. They're a more explosive offense than they were in the past. We know how good both those running backs are. So what do you think about that part of the matchup? What do you think about Wisconsin 16 points over 3 games, but now going up against a pretty explosive and potent offense?
Yeah, I'm excited to see really just Drew Aller and just the journey he's taken to get to this moment. A 5-star that, a lot of Penn State fans felt he was going to be the savior and the guy to unlock that next level of Penn State greatness. And it's kind of been a slow start to get there. And then in comes Kotelnicki, and it looks like he's unlocked that next level of Drew Aller's potential. That final drive to tie the game up on the road versus USC showed me a lot. Yep. He had some turnovers, he had some mistakes in that game, but make no mistake about it, a 4th and 10 conversion, a 4th and 7 conversion, he's running the ball. That was a big boy moment for him, and you cannot discredit what that does for his confidence. This is going to be another game. You're talking about going on the road to a hostile environment, a team that's rolling, their fan base is believing. This falls on the quarterback's shoulders. When Drew Aller enters that huddle, there's 10 other guys looking at him, and they want to see in his eyes, do you believe you're the guy to bring us home? And I think that final drive last week to ultimately tie the game and win the game does a lot in that category.
And the thing I loved about it was Drew Aller hasn't thrown interceptions in his career, right? I think he had 3 going into that game, and he equaled that total. One of them was a Hail Mary, so you disregard that. But at the point of that drive, right, you've had 2 really important interceptions, something you haven't done in your career. And instead of being shaken by it and questioning who you are, he comes through on 2 huge 4th down passes to Julian Fleming, who hadn't really been
poetic.
A huge factor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a huge stretch for them, right? The next 2 weeks, you've got Wisconsin, Ohio State. Honestly, if you win one of those, you're probably in really good shape. If somehow you win them both, I mean, that changes everything. But you look at the projections for the playoff right now, they're more than 90% in most of these projections to make the playoff. If you win in Madison, you're in really really good shape.
To win both of those, I mean, we change our perception of Penn State.
Absolutely.
It's never been. Penn State wins all the games they're supposed to win, right? And then they've fallen short in these big moments. That's why this is such a big game. Really, for James Franklin specifically, that's why he goes and gets Kotal Nittany. That's what I'm excited to see here.
I think this is the similar storyline. Maybe it's a week from now with Penn State, although obviously you have to get through Wisconsin to make that Ohio State game that big. But can you win a game of that magnitude? And same for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Right? Luke Fickell, I mean, okay, it's better here these last 3 weeks. Haven't beaten a ranked team yet in Wisconsin. This is an opportunity to do that in a huge way and maybe accelerate that process. I mean, you think about what we were thinking about them a month ago.
Right.
After that USC game and what we're thinking about them now, significantly different, but it could be night and day different were they to knock off the Nittany Lions.